ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Friday. Your weekend is here. And it's The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. We do that every day, 304-396-TALK. 304-396-8255. We're going to be open the entire show today. It's going to be you and me. And, of course, as always, we got a lot to get into. Let us start with the news that came out earlier today from Marshall University. I mean, this is pretty big. Marshall is getting closer to the non-conference schedule being released on the basketball side. And this was alluded to on the show. We've got a couple of really prestigious non-conference opponents for the Thundering Herd, and we'll get more into that. But Marshall's going to go to Columbus and face off against Ohio State. Going to be up at Value City Arena. That's going to be a November 9th game. And the Herd then is going to, 11 days later, be in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and the Dean Smith Center to face off against North Carolina. So if those are not road trips for some of the more adventurous Herd fans, I don't know what is. I mean, usually you're thinking, hey, can the Herd get on the Ohio State football schedule? That would be a fun road trip. Now this is going to be one as well. So the Herd's going to take on Ohio State. And again, that game on November 9th. So November 9th is a Monday. So you got a Monday game in Columbus on November 9th. And then the game on the 20th is a Friday game. So the Herd on the road, November 9th, and then November 20th. And these are Monday and Friday games. So my initial ask of you is, how excited are you for this? The non-conference schedule really ramping up for the Thundering Herd. In the release that came out earlier, Coach Jackson said we're looking forward to competing against the likes of both UNC and Ohio State. He added in the release, those are the type of matchups that challenge your team, create memorable experiences for your players, and provide a chance to showcase the growth and competitiveness of our program on a national stage. So the Thundering Herd on the road, taking on Ohio State and North Carolina. Are you excited about that schedule-wise? Is that the right move for Marshall basketball? Try to load up a little bit more, because really what matters is how you finish in conference, and more importantly, how you finish in the conference tournament. The conference tournament is the prize. Always has been at this level of basketball, or at least that has been the easiest way to get into the NCAA tournament. You can have a fantastic regular season, and the committees are going to look at you and go, okay, you had a great record. Great. You had a good year. You should be celebrated for it. Let's look at your schedule. Who'd you play? And so now you can't look at the schedule and go, this is not that difficult. If you're competitive against Ohio State, you're competitive against North Carolina, you get something out of that, helps your schedule. You know what? You might sneak in and get a win or two. So is this the direction you want to see all of the Marshall sports teams take? Maybe you take a few more of these games. Instead of trying to bring games to Huntington, trying to bring games that, well, you get a home game. And you're going to get your normal group of fans that show up, right? You're among those. You're showing up. Basketball's been pretty good. The core group is always there for the most part. But if you're looking for something that's going to help you on your strength of schedule, something that's going to excite the fans, you dial up Ohio State. And honestly, I'm surprised these two teams haven't played more. And we'll get into that as well. The other item basketball-wise, Wyatt Frick signing an Exhibit 10 contract with the Charlotte Hornets. So we'll get your thoughts on that as well. We'll get your text at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. If you like, we can talk a little World Cup soccer. The United States did not win yesterday. Am I surprised by that? No. Did I watch? No. Did I care? No. Because that game did not matter at all. Meant nothing. The United States already won its group. So you throw your B team out there, you throw the second string out there, and you almost win, or at least you almost walk away with a draw. Throw that one away. You don't even care. You don't even get bothered by that. Someone who doesn't follow this sport as religiously as others, I'm not passionate about it. I'm not following the World Cup religiously. I can't even tell you who's moved on to the group of 32. Okay, United States, I can tell you that. Didn't Mexico advance? Yeah, I can tell you that. I mean, the only thing I've been really doing with the World Cup has been following social media because it kind of populates my feed. And the people that are coming from different countries having a blast in the United States. And absolutely, I'm here for that. Soccer fans are learning about college tailgating and everything else that we do as an American sports culture. And hopefully they can cherry pick some of the better ideas and take those back home, and maybe the American sports fan can cherry pick some of the ideas that the soccer fans are bringing. I'll say this, though. You go to a soccer match, and you don't have to generate that energy. That's the one thing that I can really say. Soccer does a great job. As far as the fans are concerned, you don't have to worry about, is there energy? Those fans don't stop. That's dedication. They don't stop. Now, I don't know if I'm down with the soccer songs, but at the same time, they're in it the entire game. They're booing right now because we have the hydration break, because that kind of destroys the flow of this thing. You got to stop. We've turned soccer into two halves. Now it's 4 quarters just about. And I don't know if soccer fans, internationally and locally, domestically as well, are really into those hydration breaks. That's the only thing I've seen really a pushback on. So if you're into that, we'll get it today. So I promise we're going to open up the text line. We're going to do that, and we'll start at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Here's a text I got, and let me qualify this. I know who texted this in because, well, I recognize the number. Our former intern, Ben Anderson, he's going to grad school, Syracuse, and he popped this out here thinking I wouldn't notice it was him texting. He said, "Can we have Marshall women's basketball play on the road at Syracuse so I can watch it in person?" I'm going to say no. Maybe. I don't know, but I'm going to say no to that. I get the idea. Do you want to see the Thundering Herd travel all the way to Syracuse, New York, to see a game possible? I mean, does that make sense on the schedule? I'd rather Marshall go south. Do you have a preference, by the way? And again, we're all over the place today because it's open for you at 304-396-TALK. Do you have a preference? You want to go a little further north? You want to go a little further south when it comes to trying to pick up games? You want to go a little further west? I mean, what's ideal for you? If you're a Herd fan, you want to travel. Or better yet, where are you at right now? Because I have a lot of people that listen on the stream at different places. So where are you at? If you're listening outside of the area, where are you at? What do you want to see? Basically, where are you at, and where should the Herd be going so you can see them and you get an opportunity to see them in the area you live? I'm curious about that. So we'll do that again. And I'll give that number one more time before we hit the break. That's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is Your Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hey, it's Lex and Terry, K&B Pest Control, locally owned and operated in Huntington, West Virginia, serving the tri-state.
Man, these guys are great. They do residential and commercial, indoor, outdoor, free estimates. These guys are the best fast. I'm telling you.
This is when the critters come out. High customer ratings, satisfaction guaranteed, large fleet, crew, meaning same-day appointments, and quick service.
All you got to do is pick up your phone and call Patrick, the owner. Okay, that's what you got to do. Or Becca. They're standing by to take care of you guys. It's knbpestcontrol.com online. And give them a call, man. They got a great Facebook page. Go ahead and like it. They got a phone number. We'll give you that. Why not? It's free. 304-523-4281.
Or go to knbpestcontrol.com. They will tell you what everything looks like, what you're looking for, if you're getting a pest problem, and get on top of it. They're the best. Make sure you call Patrick once again, who is very passionate about his pest control, or Becca. K&B Pest Control. They'll kill for your business.
Trust the guys with over 40 years of experience at K&B Pest Control.
Saving money on everything you need at Menards. Your roof is the first line of defense against the elements, and it enhances the appearance of your home's exterior. Owens Corning Duration Shingles offer ultimate protection. Choose from 26 stylish colors and transform your home today. Shop our selection of roofing products on Menards.com. Plus, check out our weekly flyer for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Baker's Waterproofing and Basement Authority of West Virginia are now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
The West Virginia and Appalachian Laborers District Council and Lyona are building West Virginia. From the roads and bridges that move us today to the infrastructure that keeps the Mountain State competitive tomorrow. Lyona's more than 5,000 members across the region help grow local economies by earning good union wages, shopping where they live and work, and paying taxes that strengthen our communities. Lyona builds West Virginia for good jobs, stronger communities, and a better future. Online at WVLDC.org.
Looking to elevate your space without breaking the bank? Welcome to Closet 26. We're talking brand new high-end furnishings at a huge discount. From durable statement pieces to decor designed to style every room. Experience the thrill of the hunt with prices you'll absolutely love. Why pay retail when you can find the best for less? Shop smart, shop local. Open 7 days a week, 10 to 6. Closet 26, 8009 County Road, Proctorville. And follow them on Facebook.
11-year-old Hazel lives in a place that's rich in many things, but not money. As a young child, her job is to play, grow, and learn. But for kids like her in the world's poorest places, poverty gets in the way. There was a time when Hazel had to trek more than 2 hours every day to collect water from a dirty river. Once, when she got a life-threatening infection and her mother had no money for a hospital, Hazel nearly died. But thanks to Child Fund supporters, Hazel and her community now have clean drinking water and access to healthcare. And Hazel has a better chance to fulfill her potential. Child Fund works in 24 countries to make sure children grow up healthy, educated, self-sufficient, and safe, wherever they were born. Why? Because Child Fund knows the promise inside every child is greater than the poverty around them. Learn more at childfund.org.
Imagine being denied an apartment because of your religion, or your race, or because you have children, or a disability.
It's so wrong.
Yes, but who has the power to stop this?
You do. Each of us has the power. The law is on your side. It's illegal for landlords to discriminate because of race, color, religion, sex, national origin, disability, or familial status. If you suspect that you have experienced housing discrimination, file a complaint with HUD immediately so we can investigate it. Fair housing is your right.
Use it.
To learn more, visit hud.gov/fairhousing. That's hud.gov/fairhousing. Or call 1-800-669-9777. 1-800-669-9777. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Welcome back to today's edition of Your Drive. Our text line is yours until the end of the show today, so please take advantage of it, and we'll go any direction you'd like to. But I'd like to start a little bit more with the series that Marshall picked up. So we don't have the complete non-conference schedule just yet, but we got the two big ones that were announced today. So Marshall's going to go to Ohio State on November 9th, and then going to go and play North Carolina on November 20th. Both these games are going to be on the road. And I was a little surprised that Marshall had not played Ohio State more. Just off the top of my head, I thought, okay, well, these two teams have met. I know that. We go back to the most recent series, and it was back on November 25th, 2016. I believe John Elmore had 25 points in that game. Austin Loop had 15, I believe. And Ohio State won that one, 111-70. And so we got to go back 10 years. That's the last time that these two teams met. Before that, the first time that these two teams met, Ohio State leads the series 2-0. And I don't have the box for this one. But it's November 28th, 1977. Ohio State beat Marshall 81-65. So the Buckeyes have faced off against Marshall only 2 times. This will be the third all-time meeting. And that last game, again, Marshall got beat pretty bad. It's not the worst beating you can give, but 111-70, yeah, that was a convincing win. A little bit closer on the scoreboard for the first time back in 1977. The other game that was announced is Marshall going to take on North Carolina. Now, I'm not as surprised that these two teams haven't met as often. But you go back to Wednesday, December 1st, 1976, and Marshall went to Chapel Hill, played the Tar Heels, and lost that one by 20, 90-70. And then the next time these two teams would meet is January 2nd, 1994. That was a Sunday, by the way. And again, all these games have been on the road. And Marshall goes in and loses to North Carolina 116-62. Now, the 90s were not Marshall's best effort. We can honestly say there were some hits and misses there in the 90s for sure. And then we go to the last time that these two teams met. December 22nd, 2009. Chapel Hill, the place which saw North Carolina beat Marshall 98-61. Demir Pitts had 17 points in that game, I believe, and Hassan Whiteside had 11. So Marshall is 0-2 against Ohio State and 0-3 against North Carolina. Now, this hasn't been announced as one of those, hey, we're going to do this as a series, but you got your foot in the door. You're playing two prominent basketball programs. Ohio State, really good. Going to Columbus, that's an easy trip. Actually going to Chapel Hill, fairly easy trip for the majority of Herd fans as well. And you're playing North Carolina. Most people would say that they are huge North Carolina fans. If you went out on the street right now, and the reason I say that is because, again, when I'm out and about, it's very eclectic out there. There's a lot of different colors out there. I'm not seeing a sea of green when I'm out and about. It's different shades of different teams. There's some that are Duke fans as well. I know you know them. I don't know too many NC State fans. I know a few. But put all this aside. And you're seeing some of the scheduling philosophy here. Just a little bit. And I'm sure some of that has to do with Coach Jackson. Some of that's got to do with his staff. Some of that's got to do with A.D. Harrison as well. It's all collaborative to a degree. Ultimately, the AD's got to go along with it, I would think. And the rest of the schedule is going to give us a little bit more insight into what we're going to see for Marshall basketball. I don't know if we've got any more heavy hitters on the schedule, but you've got the MAC Sunbelt Challenge. That's going to be part of your schedule. You've got a couple of really big named opponents on your schedule. Are we going to see a good mix of road and home games? Or are we going to see it lean a little heavy towards home? Or are we going to see it lean a little more toward the road? Not necessarily trying to chase those dollars at home. You don't want to put your team out there and just run them ragged on the road. At the same time, you're playing Ohio State, you're playing North Carolina. You're probably going to generate more on the road at those games than you possibly would for a home game. At least that's my feeling on it or thought on it without actually seeing the books. And, of course, again, concessions are important. Tickets are really important. And you got your core season ticket group, and you've got some different spots in the Henderson Center where the premium experience is different. And we heard from Ryan Crisp the other day. If you didn't get a chance to listen to that episode, I really invite you to go back, because Ryan is pretty straightforward when it comes to, hey, this is what we're doing and why. And our fans, being you, have told Marshall, you've said, I want a more premium experience. Now, not every seat can be premium. That's just the facts. It can't be a premium, because if every seat's premium, then no seats are really premium. So you got to have something that's truly premium, truly unique. Okay, you've got the courtside seats; those don't go up very often. You've got the seats now that are used to be where the sky deck, if you call it the sky deck, the overhang. So there's a new push to make that space a lot more premium. And you've got the end zone seats with the tables. You've got the courtside tables. You've got some different spaces there, because you don't have a basketball arena that's really configured for truly luxury spaces. So you're trying to come up with different spots, different areas, and try to give them a unique value point. And that's only going to get you so far. Then what's the next step? Well, you're going to have to look at the schedule and go, okay, how can we beef this up? How can we put together a schedule that's going to, one, be competitive, challenging, and generate us some money on the road? And I think this dials it up completely. Plus, I just like it. Having Ohio State on the schedule makes sense. Marshall doesn't have to go too far to Columbus. That's a bus trip. You head up to Columbus, you play the game, you get back home, hopefully at a reasonable time, and win or lose, you benefit from it. Same thing with North Carolina. It's not that hard of a trip. You make that trip, and then you can probably bus back the following morning, depending on, again, when it is, what the schedule is, what the rest of your road schedule is. Is it part of a road swing? We won't know until we see the non-conference schedule. Or will it be something that leads to something else? I mean, don't know if this could happen, but hey, you know what? Maybe you can make that North Carolina swing. You could play North Carolina and Duke on that road trip. That would be something. Yeah, that's just food for thought down the line. Our text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255, to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Texter says, Paul, the Mountaineers are playing Virginia Tech. Why can't the Herd? That's a good question. I appreciate the question. Just depends, really. What future opportunities are available. Now, the difference there is, and I'm not saying it's apples and oranges because, of where the two programs are. I mean, you got to have a first for everything. You don't have that many matchups against Ohio State and North Carolina, so this really feels like a first to a degree. But did you know that Marshall leads Virginia Tech 10-9 in the all-time men's basketball series? The last time these two teams played, Marshall won. This is back on December 30th of 2006. So that's the last time these two teams met. That would be a fun series. Close series. It's been a while. It was a 59-58 victory, so it was a one-point victory. Virginia Tech had got the better of the Herd the previous matchup. But Marshall, early on in this season, or in this series, dominated it. Of course, we got to go back to the 21-22 season when they first met, and then the 23-24 season, the 28-29 season, that was a Marshall win. The 38-39 season, 39-40, and of course then, we jump a little bit, picks back up 52-53, and Marshall was very successful in this series, and then Virginia Tech start to get a little bit better and started to win more and more. But Marshall has had some competitive, high-scoring games with Virginia Tech, so I appreciate the thoughts there. So 10-9, I didn't even realize that that series has been played a little bit more. Marshall's got some interesting names on the basketball history books of teams that Marshall's had. Like Marshall's played Temple one time. Marshall played Temple one time, leads that series. It was a 75-76 season. So you can go on and on. And before our former intern Ben Anderson texted in, because now he's all about Syracuse, Marshall is tied with Syracuse 1-1 all-time series. The two teams met 48-49, and then they met again in the 11-12 year. December 6th, 2011 to be exact. Syracuse won that one 62-56. So these are some of the matchups I'd like to see more of, because if you're trying to build your basketball program, you need a good schedule, obviously. You need revenue. You need the fans buying tickets. You need all of that. But if Marshall has a really good year, you look at the schedule and go, okay, Marshall had a pretty good year. It was a very tough schedule compared to years past. Is that going to be enough to get you an at-large? Probably not, unless you go in, you beat those two teams, and then you have a tremendous year. And then you might be flirting with an at-large if need be. But ultimately, Marshall's got to take care of its own house, because the Sun Belt is not that strong in basketball compared to football. It's a tough league, but it's not that strong or as well regarded nationally, or at least by the metrics. You just straight up look at the metrics. The Sun Belt is not, it's not like baseball. It's not like a few other sports where the league is considered one of the top leagues. In basketball, there's work to be done. That's why you have scheduling alliances with the Mid-American Conference. You want to try to position your best teams, and the Mid-American Conference wants to position its best teams against one another. Benefit, one, the schedule, and two, if you get a win, you get a push from that. If you get a loss, you don't get dinged as hard. It's basically putting that in a general as possible term. All right, our text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More on this edition of Your Drive coming up on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is Huntington Mayor Patrick Farrell. If you haven't been downtown in a while, this is your invitation. Come see Huntington. You'll find families gathered along the river, friends sharing a meal, kids running through the park, music filling the air. You'll find a city moving forward, a city on the rise. Join us July 3rd at Harris Riverfront Park to celebrate America's birthday at Dog Dazzle. Enjoy great food, live entertainment, and fireworks over the Ohio River. Come celebrate America's birthday with us.
Giovanni's 20th Street is the place to be before, during, and after the game. 14 great beers on tap, plus classic Giovanni's pizzas, pastas, calzones, sandwiches, and wings. Never miss a minute of the action on 10 TVs now at Giovanni's 20th Street. And Giovanni's 20th Street has never looked or tasted better. Under new ownership and management. Dine in, get it to go, or have it delivered. Order online at Giovanni'sPizzaPower.com. 20th Street Giovanni's, right on Marshall's campus, across from Edwards Stadium.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Shop all American fireworks at the Primitive End, 14804 US 23, Greenup, Kentucky. The largest fireworks selection in the tri-state with over 30 brands to choose from. The Primitive End is a family-fun tradition serving the tri-state for over 20 years. Fireworks are available all year round with something for everyone, including the new 8-inch shells. Shop early and get the biggest bang for your buck, the best selection, and the lowest prices of the season. Free fireworks for kids with purchase. The Primitive End, Greenup, Kentucky.
Hometown Chevrolet, your home of the new 30-mile-per-gallon Chevy Trax and the new 3-row SUVs like the Traverse, Tahoe, and Suburban. Everything you need right here at home. Want a new truck? We have 0% financing for a full 5 years on new 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500s and free oil changes for life at your hometown Chevy dealer. Our used inventory is priced to move with the quality you want at a payment that makes sense. From low APRs to rebuilding, we'll get you done. Hometown Chevrolet, Waverly, Ohio, where everybody drives home.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
Here's another Kendra Communications Community Chatter. The Marshall University Rec Center will be hosting Rec Fest 2026, presented by Smoothie King from noon to 3 p.m. on Friday, August 15th. Now, this free event will offer students and community members an opportunity to connect with campus and local resources ahead of the fall semester. Admission is free and open to the public.
This Kenner Communications Community Chatter brought to you by Kentucky Farmers Bank, the Better Bank in Summit, Ashland, Callisburg, Louisa, and Wheelersburg. Online at kfb.bank.
This summer, follow country roads to West Virginia's spectacular state parks. Turns out the getaway you've been looking for isn't far, and it doesn't have to cost a lot. With affordable stays, mountain views, and waterfalls that make you slow down a while. It's all right here. Plan your getaway today at wvstateparks.com.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans. When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We continue on with this edition of Your Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We've been breaking down a little bit. Marshall taking on Ohio State coming up November 9th in basketball, and then the Hers going to go to Chapel Hill to face off against the Tar Heels. That'll be on November 20th. Now, the big question is, are you excited about this series? A couple of people have thrown out Virginia Tech since the Hokies and the Mountaineers are getting back together. Texter just wrote in and said, why doesn't Marshall play more Big Ten or ACC schools in basketball? I appreciate the tech. Without actually just combing the schedule previous years, just to kind of break down some of those matchups, the entirety of those matchups. What are the ACC schools that you would like to see Marshall play? Big Ten, what comes off the top of your head when you're thinking, okay, Marshall should play more Big Ten? Hey, Marshall's played Indiana before. That's been on the schedule, and I've enjoyed that. Marshall has not shied away, I don't think, from any matchup. I don't think that I've ever heard anyone say, "Oh, we don't want to play them." No, Marshall will play. I think you got to get a partner to work with. Of course, I know Kentucky comes up, and Kentucky will play Marshall now and then in basketball. It's a good game for the Thundering Herd. It's a good game for Kentucky. You're going to get a little rub from the Herd fans only because a lot of Kentucky fans might look at that and go, yeah, it's Marshall. I've got season tickets. Maybe I'll just secondary market these things. Who knows? Texture says, why not Michigan? That's a good question. Why not Michigan? I mean, stands a reason. Michigan. Rumor has it Michigan's pretty good in basketball. Michigan would be. I'd be all right with Michigan. I'd be okay with a couple more teams from the ACC. I'd be okay with a lot of teams from the SEC, to be honest with you. It would be all right with me. I'd like to see, say, for example, Tennessee. I'd like to see the Herd play Tennessee. Marshall hasn't played Tennessee since, I think it was 2015. I think Marshall's actually won a few games in that series now that I look it up. It was it's February 5th of 1938. It was February 3rd of 1940. And it was January 6th, 1941. And then the series would continue a couple more years. It would go all the way to the 45-46 season. And then it would disappear from the schedule until the 15-16 season. And of course, again, you've got to, these were different times, these were different conference alignments and everything else down. So you got to look at it. I mean, Tennessee is Tennessee now. Tennessee is not, one of those schools that I would have thought Marshall would have played that much. And then you look back and go, okay, yeah, Marshall's played them several times. But if I'm looking for my non-conference schedule, I'm trying to come up with games that, if I'm the athletic director and he can, of course, refocus that conversation anytime. And we've talked to him before and kind of got a glimpse into, his philosophy. I'm sure ultimately he's like, okay, what's going to be best for Marshall? What's going to be best for the fans to go? Games Marshall can get to. Games where Marshall will benefit from. Games where Marshall could possibly make some money off of. I mean, you got to have a little bit of a mix, I would think. But again, I'm sure if Duke called up tomorrow and said, "Hey, A.D. Harrison, we need a game. Could Marshall come down and play?" And he's probably gonna look at the schedule and talk to coach and go, I think we're going down. I think we're playing the Duke Blue Devils. I think that is what we look at these schedules, and of course, when we spoke with him early in his time at Marshall University, he kind of indicated that, look, I haven't really had my hands on the basketball schedule yet. Is this a reflection of, okay, A.D. Harrison has now got his hands a little bit more on the basketball schedule, putting his thoughts and his input into it? Texter says, Paul, how about a Marshall-Louisville game? Very close proximity and a top 20 team yearly now. Absolutely. Appreciate the text on that. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. It's not that far. It's just far enough. And you've got Marshall fans in that Cincinnati area that would probably make that trip down to Louisville. I don't see why not. I mean, maybe you could work that in somewhere like, okay, we're going to go to Louisville. And, okay, let's make that trip and go say hi to our friends at Western Kentucky. You could tie some of these things in. So I love that suggestion. That is a good one. Thank you. Also, Texture says, Marshall can only play whoever agrees to play. And that is a great fact. Thank you for that. I will add to your thought, though. You don't know until you ask. And, of course, you're looking for games on a yearly basis. You don't want to lock into too many games, I would think. You want to have some flexibility on your schedule. I mean, you don't know who's going to be good, but when you're playing a school like North Carolina, you're playing a school like Ohio State, I mean, you're getting a top-tier team. You know it. So from your point of view, yeah, we're benefiting. Now, Marshall was not, by any stretch of the imagination, a bad team. Few things go differently. Marshall's probably the conference champion in the regular season. Marshall could have been the tournament champion and been an NCAA team. And hopefully, with an expanded field, Marshall can be an NCAA team again. Because that's the big push. Because, obviously television money, ratings, revenue. All of those things that come into this. And you want to have a system where at least you feel there's some chance. At the end of the day, there's some chance. You don't want to lock anyone out. You want to have a clear path to get in. Both those great texts. We will continue with those texts at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Save big money on your big project at Menards. For over 65 years, Menards has been the destination for post-frame buildings. They go up fast and are a durable, low-maintenance solution for extra storage, more workspace, and to protect your equipment. Get a free estimate on the building of your dreams with our Design and Buy program in-store or on Menards.com. Plus, check out our weekly flyer for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
And now, Babbel proudly presents The Cat Chat.
Bonjour, monsieur. Yes, hi. I'm staying in room 22, and I was wondering if there was anyone I could chat with about my sheets. They seem to be making me just really itchy.
Pardon, vous avez dit un chat?
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I just want to chat with maybe like the cleaning service, see which detergent they use. Just a chat.
Chat.
Please, I'm so itchy.
Un instant, s'il vous plaît. Matisse, j'ai un client qui demande un chat.
Oh, my goodness. I thank you. Just a chat, really, just a...
Voilà.
What?
Sir, you requested a cat to scratch you.
Traveling mistakes can really be absurd. Learn to speak like the locals with Babbel, and no one will mistake your chat for a cat.
Sir, please. Your cat.
Get up to 50% off on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to get up to 50% off. Babbel.com.
The quality of meat in the grocery store just keeps getting worse.
Yes, I read that 85% of the grass-fed meat in the U.S. is imported from overseas. They just package it here and label it product of the U.S. I don't trust any of it. That's why I switched to Good Ranchers.
Good Ranchers?
It's a meat delivery service, but everything is ultra high quality. They only source from local U.S. farms. Everything's pasture-raised with no antibiotics, hormones, or harmful additives. I actually feel good about what I'm feeding my family.
Wow, and it gets delivered right to your house?
Yep. American born and raised beef, pork, chicken, and wild-caught seafood right to my door. No more running to the grocery store every day. They're even offering $40 off your first order.
I'm ordering right now.
Good Ranchers. Quality food you can trust. 100% American meat and wild-caught seafood delivered with free express shipping. Get $40 off your first order. But hurry, this offer won't last long. Head to goodranchers.com/grill. That's goodranchers.com/grill.
Party at your place this summer? Fix things up inside and out with July 4th deals, now at Lowe's. Get up to 45% off select major appliances and save up to an additional 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Plus, save $80 on the select Charbroil Performance Series gas grill, now $299. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
All of us love sports, but not all sports are created equal. College sports have big budgets, dedicated alumni networks, and corporate sponsorships. Professional sports have even deeper pockets, millionaire owners, lucrative TV and radio deals, and merchandise sales. High school sports have you. Everyone agrees high school sports give us plenty of reasons to cheer. And now's a great time for us to give back. Supporting your hometown high school won't cost you much, but it will go a long way to ensuring the games we love the most are here to stay. West Virginia High School Sports. They're good for our kids, good for our community, and best of all, they're good for you.
This message presented by the West Virginia Secondary School Activities Commission and the West Virginia Athletic Directors Association.
Sweetie, want some fruit? You have to use the right tool for the job. A power drill is the wrong tool to slice fruit. Just like an antibiotic is the wrong tool to treat viruses, including colds and flu. Antibiotics are only needed for certain bacterial infections. When they aren't needed, antibiotics won't help you, and the side effects could still hurt you. Ask your healthcare professional when an antibiotic is the right tool and when it's not. Visit cdc.gov/antibiotic-use.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We continue on with this Friday edition of Your Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter writes in, it says, why doesn't Marshall play Pitt more often? I appreciate the text there. I mean, we've been talking about some of the scheduling, the Thundering Herd announcing at Ohio State, North Carolina are going to be road non-conference games coming up. And I was curious what would be a great opponent for Marshall in that vein. And, yeah, Marshall doesn't play Pitt very often. Of course, you know, when you think Pitt, you think West Virginia. Right? You think Pitt, WVU. I mean, it's a classic college matchup, the backyard brawl. I don't know if I would want to replicate the backyard brawl. I don't even want to come close to the backyard brawl. Marshall has played Pittsburgh 5 times and lost all 5. The last one was back in December 28th, 2016, if you remember that. It was a 112-106 Pitt win. Pitt played one time in Huntington. It was the 91-92 season. It was December 19th, 1991, and Pitt actually won that game as well. It was I'm looking at the scores here. They've been close enough. The first game, 69-70, was like a 20-point loss. The game in 90-91 was a 30-point loss. 91-92, it was a 89-65 defeat. The 92-93 game was a 95-81 defeat, and then 16-17, of course, 112-106. Yeah, you had some connections there with Pitt. There have been a few connections, but I don't know if that one does it for me. And again, I want to go south. I think I want to go south on some of these games. If I'm looking, but do I want to see Marshall go up to Syracuse? Probably not. Do I want to see Marshall go a little southern? Yeah, I think so. I mean, for example, I mean, you want, well, I mean, do I want to go all the way to South Carolina and like say, hey, Clemson, can we get a game? But I would definitely do North Carolina State. I would do Wake Forest. I would do all of the North Carolina teams if I could. Try to get them on a road. Just try to get a non-conference road game at NC State, Wake Forest, at Virginia. Obviously, North Carolina has been dialed up. Could you get Duke? I would dial those up before I would dial up a Syracuse, a Pitt. But again, if Syracuse comes with a nice check and says, hey, we'd like to have you come up to Syracuse and play the Orange, okay, we're taking the game. I would think anyway. But I like the idea earlier that Louisville need to play that game a little bit more. If you can get them. If you can get them on the schedule. And it would be, I think, a win-win. Louisville leads the series 11-5. The last time these two teams met, it looks like it was November 21st, 2014. They played 3 times in the 21st century here. December 18th, 2007, November 27th, 2010, November 21st, 2014. All Louisville wins. I mean, the last time Marshall beat Louisville, and again, it's an 11-5 Louisville series. Marshall actually won the first 3 meetings, won the first 4 out of 5 meetings with this team, lost 3 straight, and then the last time Louisville lost to Marshall was January 21st, 1950. Lost to the Herd 92-72. And that was the last time that a Marshall team beat Louisville. Now, with all of that said, do you think you can get them back? And of course, again, a lot of that was because Marshall are in different conferences. You know, one of those games was in the Ohio Valley Conference tournament. So some of this was because Marshall was conference mates with a few of these teams, you know, before some of these teams became some of these teams. So you look at these histories and like, oh, hey, yeah, I didn't know Marshall played Louisville. Well, yeah, there was a reason for that. And as conference realignment has changed over the years, some of the matchups have changed based off conference alignment, travel, where programs are. We'll see what happens. But good scheduling by Marshall to pick up Ohio State and North Carolina. Have a great weekend, everyone. Just a heads up, might not be here on Monday. If that's the case, I'll let you know on socials. I will be back with you, though, for the majority of the week, though. We'll see if I'm here on Monday. I'll give you a little bit more detail on social if I'm not going to be with you. But until then, have a great weekend.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.